Hello everyone, so this is the September Simon Says stamp card kit of the month that I have just got my hands on. I'm going to pull this out. Ooh, it looks like I've got a nice large envelope in a rather like a gray color. I don't have one in that color yet. I love these, they're super sturdy and hold all the stuff. I am not storing my kits in them because I use them for other things, but it's a nice envelope, probably because I make a lot of cards out of the kits and I make the contents smaller, and so I store it in a smaller space. Okay, got everything there. Have a lovely lollipop. This one usually gets eaten by one of my kids. We have a craft glue stick, which is handy because I am running low on glue stick. Ooh, what are these? These look nice. They're like those flat sequins. We have whatever that is. Advertisement, I'm not sure. I'm gonna scoot these over a bit so I can look at the inspiration. Look at that. Oh, I love the colors. So let me see, this says what this is. We have the stamp set. We haven't got to that yet. Maybe this is what this is. Is this what this is? I'm not even sure. Simon Says stamp Northern Lights embellishment mix. Could that be this? Well, anyway, they are pretty. They're kind of iridescent and they look like little flat circles. Cool. Then we have 3 large tags. They're number 8 size, I guess. Those are fun to embellish and do mixed media techniques with. Then, what is this? Okay, so we have 6 Simon Says stamp A2 size clear acetate cards. This is a new thing to me, completely clear. It's basically a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 A2 size card that is acetate, completely clear. It's nice and thick. This could be a love-hate thing. I feel like I could get this dirty really easily. And when it's clear like this, if you smudge it or get glue on it, it shows. So that's an interesting idea. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. And I don't know if I'm going to love these or just not. I don't think I'd hate them, but, you know, am I going to use this? I got 6 of them to try. Let's see, maybe I'll make something out of one of them to try it out. And, of course, if you followed my channel, you may have guessed why this kit appealed to me. Look at the butterflies! Actually, let me show you on this side. You can see better the embossing folder. It's like a burst of butterflies. So, and this is, I think these are these 3D? I'm not sure. But that's pretty cool. It's called the Butterfly Burst embossing folder. So I can see myself using that in multiple ways and for different cards. And, oops. This might be an interesting combination. I'm not really sure how you make that work though. Maybe doing a card, like adhering it just on one side or something. Yeah, still figuring that one out. So we got the embossing folder with the butterfly, and we get this lovely rose-winged butterfly die, which I do not have anything like this in my collection. I do have butterflies. This lovely die. I think I plan on using that maybe a couple times. And then some beautiful papers. Let's see, what do we have? Wow. Oh, look at this. I got purple. Okay. And vellum. We have some vellum. I love vellum. I have vellum, but I will use this maybe in these things. And then this is, what is it? The Tim Holtz Ideology Metallic Confections Craft Stock. So the back looks like craft. Maybe that would be good with, ooh. It'd be interesting. I don't know. That's a completely foreign concept there, the completely clear card. But, ooh, one of my favorite colors is purple. Like, my favorite color is turquoise, and the next is purple. So this is like a lilac-y lavender color. I'm happy I got that. and for mine, because it says that the colors will vary. And then look at these beautiful, beautiful papers. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit. Yeah. We have this large butterfly. I'm thinking of doing a card. Now see, you're going to lose some of the butterfly, but I'm thinking of doing a card that features the butterfly here. He almost looks like a moth. Well, we're going to call it butterfly just because, but it might officially be a moth. I'm not sure. And then, ooh, this side's really pretty too. Then this one here, flip to this side. Ooh, I like that side too. And we have this one with the birds on it. And this side is a lovely distressed floral pattern. I like how the tops, you could use a little bit of this, but it kind of gives you a glimpse of what's on the other side. But for tiny scraps and things like my charms, if that's a beautiful pattern you love, you can use that a little bit too. This one has a nice, what do you call this? Garden house, and a bike. No, that's not what it's called, but my brain is blank. It's driving me nuts. It'll come to me later. And then we have a book one. I think I wanted to maybe try to do a card with, well, where's my acetate guy? There it is. Featuring, I think that would, so one nice thing this acetate card has already done is for visualizing what your card front might look like. Oh, there we go. So even if I didn't like them as card blanks, they have that use. I think this would make a nice background for a card, so I might do something like that with that one. Did I show this side? I can't remember. Oh no! It's a lovely purple on that side. That's the hard part. These are two-sided and you only have one of each, so you gotta pick one. And this is a beautiful pattern on this side. I like that a lot. Now, you do have, if you're cutting for A2 size, which I am, you'll have some offcuts you can use of the other side. But yeah, that's probably the hardest part, is with the double-sided picking one, if you like both sides, that is. And finally, the stamp set we have here. The Thankful Greetings, Chunky Thankful Greetings, I think that's what it's called, yes. And I like this big, bold sentiment here. It's going to fill up, can you see the edges there? The front of a card and be a nice focal point. And I like the look of it too. I don't have the extra dies. I mean, I'm on a tight budget right now, so I didn't order, like, you can get dies that cut these out. They didn't come in the kit, so I have to fussy cut. But you know what? This is pretty straightforward. These ones, that's a little more tedious. I might not do that with those, but they do have dies that coordinate. Maybe someday. Probably not. And I like the sentiments here. We are so, and then I am so, feeling very, so, and then there's some standalone ones here. Thank you for your kindness during this difficult time. So that's why I chose to get this card kit, is because it had a lot of things I don't have and some things I think I will use over and over. So those are kind of my criteria. Oh, and I almost forgot. We still have 3 more papers in this. Oops. We have a lovely, what's this one called? Lemon Chiffon cardstock, the Cotton Candy Pink, and the Nina Solar White. I usually use this to make card bases. It's nice and thick, 110-pound cardstock, and it makes a nice solid card base. So I think I'm gonna make some cards. Maybe I'll do a tag, I'm not sure. I will put that on here. Okay, for card number 1, we are going to take the white cardstock and make a card base out of it. And then we have this pattern paper that is cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. This is the other side. Really beautiful. This is going to be just basically our background. So we'll go ahead and adhere that on. And for this one, I want the wood grain towards the top. And of course, I've left myself a little white border. Close enough. It's bugging me, but oh well. Now we're going to take the stamp set here and stamp this large greeting out on the vellum paper. I don't have a lot left here. And I am going to stamp it out in some white pigment ink and then add some white embossing powder. This is just a little Glacier White Nouveau embossing powder that I had, a sample. I have some left of. And this is how that looks. I did try stamping it in the white pigment and clear detail powder, but I liked this look better. Now I'm going to adhere this flat here towards the top, but I don't really want to see too much of my glue, so I'm going to try to stick to the back of the embossing powder here, and boy, that's way too much right there because it's going to seep out. Let me try to get it thinner. Boy, I could have never been a surgeon. My hands are way too unsteady. Yeah. Put it nice up towards the top, and where's my acrylic block friend helper here? That will really help to get that to lay flat. So for the next part of this card, we would love this beautiful intricate die. This, I don't know, I like it. Don't know if I love it yet because wow, it's very pretty and it's a little finicky. I had to use my metal shim to get a good cut out of it some of the time, but it cuts all of this out. Let me just show you. Here is, what did I do? Oh. Now, I put a white center in there, and that was super finicky. So basically, it's really thin. How are you going to adhere that if you don't want to adhere it flat? That's the problem I kept running into because I like a little dimension. I want my wings off, but it cuts the body out separate, you know? Comes out. So I was having some logistical issues with this die, which is why I'm like, it's great if you want to just lay it flat, but that's not always how I work. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about this pretty little fella. And on this one, the insides didn't cut out, and I'm just gonna leave that, and hopefully they don't fall out in time. I don't think they, you know, we'll see. And so the problem here, so what I ended up doing was taking, not the metal die, but a die that I already cut out, because I want this body, I want the body to stay put. I don't want it to be separate because I'm going to pop it up on foam tape. I really hope I'm making sense here, and hopefully you'll understand momentarily. So I took an extra die and traced around the edges of this middle body part here. Just like this. And then, you know, filled it in and cut this piece out. And that is what is right here on the back of this. So it's a little wider, and so it's covering, let me show you with two. It's covering this line as well, so that they're together. They're bonded by this scrap piece of paper that I cut. Can you see how this body here is a little thinner? So hopefully that makes sense. And maybe I'm making this way too complicated, but if we come back to my little card here, this is cut out, and this pink shiny paper is just something I had in my stash because you remember I got purple, but I liked this pink better for this card, and I happened to have it, so I used it. So I got the white body held on, and I also have this here. I think I like the softness of adding a little bit of vellum on top, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's not as stark, although we do have white border here, and we have this super white here. So I think it can work either way, but personal preference here. I just want my body just a little softer to go with this vellum here. And then, you know, that's a harmonious card trick, is to repeat. Actually, it's harmonious for art, anything, to repeat elements. So I had the vellum here, and now I'm repeating the vellum right here, and I have white here, and white here, and white in the paper. Pink, pink. You see the theme there? You probably all know that already. So why I made this card so complicated is I want my butterfly to fly. So I have some thin mounting tape here, foam tape, that I'm going to measure out the body. And just the body is going to be popped up. And it's going to stay together because I did all that way crazy over engineering, fussy cutting loveliness. And I don't trust the adhesive entirely. I'm just going to add a tiny bit and put my butterfly down. Give it a second, and then voila, c'est ça. Card number 1 is finished, but I'm not going to mess with it too much, but you can see, look at that. It's got dimension, shadows. It's just so much more interesting that way. But I had to figure out how to deal with the die that cuts the body out separately. So there we are, and I could add a little bit of sparkle, but I think I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to come back and erase that dot on his head. But I want this to fully dry first. So card number 1 done. And card number 2, again, we have the white card base that we made from the rest of that. And this beautiful pattern paper, which is a lovely standalone background. It had the greenhouse. I think I was calling it outside house. I don't know what I was calling it, but greenhouse is what I think that is, and the bicycle on this side. So let's go ahead and adhere that. Again, you know I love that little white border, so this is cut to 4 by 5 1/4, so that we can have our lovely little white border. And of course it makes it harder for me because I have to put it on straight. Of course I'd have to put it on straight if it covered the full panel anyway, but if I missed I could trim it off. But no, we need the challenge one. So on this card, again, we are going to use that stamp set with Thankful. I think, again, I want to do white. Let's see how it looks with just the pigment ink. I'm not sure, but I do want to put it in this upper portion. Do I want it centered? I think I want it relatively centered. So, and I'm going to push it up towards the top a little bit. I think that's good. Here is nice and wet. I can't decide. I'm having a hard time deciding. Should I add some powder to it? Ooh, it's looking a little gloppy, so I think I will add some pigment powder and emboss it. Here is my perfectly imperfect stamping. A little bit of fade at the corner of the K, and that gives it its handmade charm. So for this card, we again are going to use this die. This die I used a lot because it's a nice focal point here. And I cut it out in vellum, and it broke a little. I think I'm going to lay it down flat on here. I should have cut it out with, on top of, what do you call it? Oh my goodness. Adhesive sheet, but I didn't. So let's put some adhesive on the back of this. Let's put you, make sure you fit on the card, and yay, all the parts are adhered. Okay, before I stick that down, I just want to get some of the excess up because that was a really tiny space to adhere. And get down there. And hopefully it's all going to stick properly. We'll put that on there. Again, I am going to use the die and take a little scrap of, oops, it's this side. A little scrap from, this was from the embossed, the pink one. I had a little cut off because I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. And you can see what I've done here. I have just taken, I liked this subtle yellow color to go with the flowers, and I didn't have it anywhere else. So I just cut part of the paper. And we have this lovely little body here that we got out of that. I will show you. And you can't really tell on my skin, but let's put it on there. And then we'll put the block back on so that things can really settle down there. right in the middle there. Now doesn't that look nice? Nice and subtle there. Okay, you go hang out there. What's happening here? I don't know. Well, I do know. Now, you may, I don't remember if I mentioned earlier, you may remember, there are dies that you can buy separately to cut all these out. I don't have them, and I don't have the budget for that right now. So, that did affect which one I chose. I picked this flower, and I cheated a bit because I do have some dies that cut out some leaf things, so this one looked close. So I picked this stem as well. And I'm going to do a little floral arrangement here. Now, you know, I just didn't want to do it just flat, and that's why I have this die to help me out, because I didn't want to fussy cut that thin amount. But we have the stem here, and the flower, which I will have to fussy cut that if I want one to stick out. I've got some peeled paint ink. This is close to what I want. It's not perfect, but let's see what we get here. So this one, ooh, that's a lot. I think I'm gonna grab, let's just tamp it off a bit and see what happens. Maybe just a slight stamping off. Well, I'm okay with that. Let's see what we get here. I'm going to stick this underneath and go crazy and stamp right onto my card front. I like to know what the result is going to be, so I'm like, I don't know, I can't see it beforehand. And that's not too bad. I like that. And then I have my flower head. Now, the closest thing to a light, subtle, whatever this yellow is, I have some antique linen ink here. It's got kind of a distressed look. So what I want to do with this one, this is Distress Oxide ink, and so it gets some interesting features with water. I'm going to spray it off, get it nice and wet off camera here because I don't want to get this wet. And we're going to put our flower down right there. Wild and crazy. I think this is probably good, so I'll move this. Release. Ooh, and it's got some extra. Let's dab that up and see. And of course you can see the stem through it, but oh well. Maybe I'll just do another little bit of flower here. And I'm liking that. It is perfectly imperfect. That is a theme with this card. So, come on. You can kind of see stem sticking out. Don't love that part, but we're not done here. I am going to cut out, let me see, I have another scrap of green. It's similar. I'm going to cut this out of this green. I think I want, yeah. Oh, and if you're curious, that stem came from the Spellbinders card kit of the month, November 22 time offline from this set. And here it is, cut out in this lovely scrap. And we're going to figure out in a moment where to put it, but I need my flower again, and a scrap of white cardstock. So we're going to try full strength here. That's what we get. Stamp off. That's a lighter version. Which one do we like better? I like the full strength. So, and then some super duper sharp scissors to fussy cut imperfectly. Now you probably can't tell from the sped up version, but a little tip for fussy cutting is to turn the paper, not the scissors. So, and, ooh, yep, ooh, that's so cute. I'm going to stick this onto the back of my little paper here. my little stem. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. Let's go over here. So much glue, it's stuck. That's cute, just like that, don't you think? So I'm gonna just add some more. If I wanted this to pop out even more, I could have cut this stem a few times and layered it up. I just didn't feel like making that effort right now. So I'm gonna do this. We got our little shadow behind stamped onto the card. Kind of distressed looking. Uh-oh, you're not supposed to be sticking up there. Let's add just a bit more glue to that. And we can trim off that bit hanging off. I bet card 2's taken the longest here. And this is how card number 2 turns out. Very cute, a little different. Okay, for card number 3, I made a top folding card base. And I have, remember this one I thought would look nice with the book cut out. This is the purple side here. So again, I cut that just shy of, this one I used a die, little tip there for, because I wanted to frame it. So let's show you here. I wanted to have a little more control over where I cut it out. So this die cuts out, and it is 4 by 5 1/4. Perfect. That's usually what I would cut anyway, but this one cuts it out with the die, so you have a little bit of waste if you're not lined up perfectly, but I can see where it's going to get out, and that is what I wanted for this card. I wanted a little more control, and that's personal choice there, but yeah, and I still have this lovely section. So let's go ahead and put that on our card base. For this card, again, I'm going to cheat just a little bit here because I am using most of the stuff in the kit, but I'm going to bring in some other things from previous Simon Says stamp and sets. So we want the die. We're going to cut it out in white, and I'm going to leave all the innards. Wow. And I'm going to glue this down flat here in the bottom. Wing going off the edge. Like that. And now I cut this out. This time I cut it out in adhesive backed vellum. If only I had this one for the card earlier. But I will use this again on another card because I kind of want to piece some of these back in. If I can get them off. I'm going to take the insides. I'm going to save the rest of this because it's on adhesive sheet. Come on. See what I mean about this die being finicky? But that is part of what makes it pretty. Uh-oh. The backer came off. Come on. You. It's a butterfly. It took flight. Get back on there. I don't want to use you right now. Oh boy. We'll have to find something else to stick it to that will save it. Set that far away so I don't mess it up. Okay, I got those now. And I have this little tray collecting my extra pieces to use. I think this has had a chance to dry. First of all, I want to put the white body in. I like the white body there. We're going to do that. So I guess the nice thing about this die that it cuts out these pieces is it gives you that versatility to add things back in, but it is also what makes it a little challenging. Okay, that wing goes there. Let's get this adhesive off. The other one came off when I didn't want it to, and this one is refusing. Here we go, got it. And so you can play with different colors and themes. Look at that. It's just a little something extra there. Now, to finish this card off, that's where the cheating comes in. because I want a sentiment. And I have this die, which came in a Simon Says stamp card kit a while ago. It has the shadow, and it cuts out, you probably can't tell, I'm keeping that tittle there, the word beautiful. So, I mean, this card is beautiful, and I have a lot of cards. I used this a lot. Alright, funny, not funny story here. For this card, I really wanted to stamp out "You Are." And I put that on a block or something, and I've lost it. But, fortunately, this same stamp set also has "You Are So." So, for the video, I'm going to put the "You Are So" on there. And actually, I'm only gonna, let me see if I can get just the "You Are." And really, let's hope that works. This is also a former Simon Says stamp kit, card kit, Beautiful Flowers. I wonder if that's where the beautiful came from. I don't think it is, but I like this simple text here. I think this is glued on enough. So we're going to go with the "You Are," and I think I'm going to do black because there's just a hint of black in the background there. Oh good! I think it worked! But I need my little tittle. Little tittle. And we'll just put a little dot of glue right there. Get my little dot for the eye. The nice thing about this die is it keeps that eye dot in there, especially if you place your washi right over that when you put it out. Okay, this is card number 3, Beautiful Sentiment, You Are Beautiful. Really like how that turned out. Now, let's have a look at the super awesome bonus card. We're going to use the flat little sequins and the clear acetate card, and let me tell you, this was completely new to me, as I said earlier, but wow, this was definitely the challenge because it's awesome that you can see through it, and it's a problem that you can see through it. And so we're gonna do a reverse shaker card, and hopefully it's all gonna work out as planned. First, we're gonna take this beautiful pattern paper here, and it had the fence on the back side and the tree, so it's lovely on the back as well, and that's important when your card is see-through. I have some double stick tape around the edges, and we are going to just remove 3 sides for right now and place it down on the inside of the card here. So let me see if I can just get the corner off of these. I'm going to do this corner actually. Now, if you haven't seen me do it this way before, this is my straight strategy where I just take off part of the backer paper so that I can kind of have a little bit of flexibility when putting it on. Oh, this is a new challenge. I've cut this smaller than the card base. Okay, so this corner still has backer paper. Oh my goodness, open up. I don't know how. You know what? I need help. Help, help, help. Maybe this will help. Hold that side down for me. Acrylic block. I wasn't anticipating that challenge this time. Okay, I think, actually, I can't remember. It's about a 1/4 inch smaller all around, so that will help me on this if I can get this one. You know what, let's just put it right. That looks right on those 2 edges, so I really hope that it's good here too. Okay, and then I can pull. This card has very little room for error. Alright, and now I want to just burnish this down and try not to get my butterflies squished. That's why I had this nice and thin double stick tape. And another reason is I don't want my sequins to stick to the tape. Let's flip it over and go at it on this side. So here's what we have so far, and I don't know if you can tell, you can kind of see the double stick tape. That is an issue sometimes with clear stuff, is what will show through. This is open. It's my little pocket for the sequins, and I want to try to take some of the static off of my sequins, so I'm just dabbing a little anti-static powder. You know, it's like kind of like cornstarch or something. This is my little Rabbit Hole Designs anti-stick powder tool, and I've got this tiny little triangle tray. Try to say that 3 times fast. So these kind of have a lot of static to them. I don't know if this is going to work, but look at them. They're sticking to my finger already. So that's my idea there. I'm just going to let them swim around in the powder for a minute, and then we're going to hopefully slide them in the back of the card here. Let's see. There's not a lot of dimension in this pocket, but look at that, we got some movement. I think I'm going to call that good. And then I need to take my backer paper off, which I think it'll be easier with some help by this little tool here. Got ya. Hopefully that's enough. Alright, challenge 1 done. It's exciting on the back there, a little bit unexpected. So now, what do we do with the front? It's beautiful, but it's not done. So we're going to take the stamp set, first of all, and some of that lovely vellum we had. That's what's scrap. Okay, for the stamp set, I'm going to stamp out For You and Thankful on the vellum. Here we have the For You, and I think I am going to continue with my red line tape here to adhere it. Okay, that's prepped. And then I stamped it out again here, the Thankful, and embossed with some white powder. And if you're wondering what this color is, I'll just flip it over here. And this is a cheapy alcohol marker, a nice light one. I'm going to add a second coat here, just see if I can get it a little darker. And I am trying to stay behind the embossing so that I don't have to stay in the lines. You know, color outside the lines and no one knows, because it shouldn't show through, I hope. We shall see. It has a hint of pink. Now, the reason I did that is because this vellum is kind of see-through, and I want to obscure my sentiment just a bit. So I'm going to put this on the front, roughly there, and I want my For You to go behind. So I think I'm just going to eyeball these 2 butterflies here and put this down. Hopefully I don't forget. We want it relatively centered. Is that good? That looks pretty good. And get that adhered nice and well. So that is one of the challenges of the clear card is, well, everything shows through the front. So I don't know if you're going to put a message in this card. You might have to do it with like a post-it note or just do something pretty. So for this one, I'm going to also use the tape to adhere, I think, the sides. I don't want to do it all over because I don't want it to show that much. And so if you press it all the way down, you can still kind of see the sentiment, but this is my first time doing this, so I think I still like that because it's still pretty. I'm interested to see other ideas of what people do with these cards. The acetate cards in particular. I did find it very intriguing, but super challenging at the same time. So I honestly still don't know if I like them or not. Or if I will want... No, the question is, will I use them up? And even more so, would I reorder them? That is a big fat question mark right now. Okay, so I might just trim this little bit and just a little... I don't mind if it hangs over a little bit, but it's hanging over a lot there. And this is how it looks so far. Open it up for you. We got texture. We got a little something extra in the back. And our final piece here. In my set, I got this lovely purple, which it kind of goes right here with this tiny bit of purple and up there. But it stands out nicely. So I've got this cut out. I put it on, what do you call it, adhesive sheet first, and then die cut it. So hopefully it has adhesive already on it. Yeah. And that was my plan for how to get it to cooperate and just stick to the front of the card. I'm going to save this. Maybe I'll stick it inside something else. And let me get this out. Okay, we got it. Now we just want to put it down. They're sticking to my finger. And since my block is right here, we'll just set it there for a second so we can get full pressure everywhere on that butterfly. And this is the final version of the challenge, surprise, wild idea bonus card. What do you think? Pretty cool. Nice inside. It's got a whole lot of surprise. Alright, let's have a quick look at all the cards. Beautiful. Card number 1. Card number 2. And you can see the very subtle butterfly there. They're very similar and yet different. Our third card, a portrait layout. And the last, final bonus, we have, this is the back side, shake it, the clear card in an interesting reverse shaker fashion. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and creative day. I hope you got some interesting ideas and that you'll subscribe and hit the notification bell, especially if this is not your first video watching.